China is grappling with a pair of devastating disasters that have shaken communities across Guizhou Province. In one part of the region, a bridge failure left a cargo truck hanging over a ravine in a scene that stunned viewers across the country. Not far away, entire towns have been submerged under historic floodwaters, forcing tens of thousands from their homes. Together, these events have left many asking a difficult question: how much more can this region endure?
全部被淹了，活力超市、富裕楼，不知道
退回去，退回去。
Today, we're taking you to Rongjiang County, the center of catastrophic flooding, and to the nearby site of a dramatic expressway collapse that sparked a rescue operation unlike anything seen in recent memory. Let's begin with the incident that captured national attention. On June 24th, after days of relentless summer rain, a landslide struck part of the Houzihe Bridge on the G76 expressway in Guizhou. The force of the shifting earth caused a section of the bridge to give way, leaving a cargo truck teetering over the edge. Its cab was pitched forward into empty space, suspended hundreds of feet above a deep ravine.
大荣高速猴子河特大桥引桥垮塌的现场。那在我身后呢，可以看到。
退回去，退回去。没信号。我没信号啊。都没信号，我们也没有信号。没信号。我没信号啊。都没信号，我们也没有信号。你命大啊，兄弟啊，这个危险啊，只能要等。
Inside that truck was the driver, Chun, trapped and terrified as the ground literally disappeared beneath him. With the truck barely holding on, it was a race against time. Firefighters arrived quickly and launched a tense rescue operation that was captured on video. Using a ladder extended over the collapsed section, first responders carefully inched their way toward the cab. The footage shows the moment they reached the driver, secured him, and pulled him to safety. Against incredible odds, he survived unharmed.
但是车头一走到那里去了，就感觉就下沉了一点，我就马上就踩刹车了嘛，踩了刹车。
啊，唔係好有個咁咯，那有個小車，那邊有兩個。
Authorities later revealed that 3 additional vehicles were discovered beneath the collapsed bridge deck. Fortunately, each vehicle had been empty at the time, and all their occupants were confirmed safe. It was a rare bit of good news on a day that could have ended in tragedy. This collapse underscores a growing reality in regions facing extreme weather. Even sturdy infrastructure can fail with little warning. And in this case, one driver was incredibly lucky to escape with his life. But the bridge collapse was only part of a much larger emergency unfolding across Guizhou. Just a few hours away in Rongjiang County, weeks of heavy rain have turned everyday life into a struggle for survival. What once were quiet neighborhoods are now underwater. In some areas, flood levels reached as high as 3 meters, swallowing streets, homes, shops, and schools in muddy, fast-moving water. Drone footage and images coming out of the area show entire sections of towns transformed into vast, murky lakes. Cars are barely visible beneath the surface. Storefronts sit flooded to their awnings. Playgrounds and sports fields have vanished beneath thick brown water. For residents, the past several days have been a blur of emergency evacuations and uncertain shelter. According to Chinese state media, more than 80,000 people have already been forced to leave their homes. Among them are elderly residents who were carried to safety through waist-deep water, parents guiding children across flooded streets, and workers caught off guard as rising water rushed into their neighborhoods.
水越来越大，滨江公园这里。
Rescue teams have been working non-stop. Footage shows responders transporting families by boat through submerged roads. In one striking scene, rescuers evacuated a group of kindergartners who had become stranded inside their classroom as the water climbed higher around the building. Thanks to quick action, the children were all brought out safely. This isn't simply a story about weather. It's a story about people. Families whose homes are now unlivable, communities facing long-term loss, and first responders pushing through dangerous conditions to protect lives.
睡着了，忘了关房门了，我操，吓大了，我去！你成個水仔啊！
As the water slowly begins to recede in some areas, the full extent of damage is becoming clearer. Underground garages, sports facilities, and essential electrical infrastructure have been destroyed. Roads have collapsed or been torn apart by rushing floodwater. Mud-caked debris now lines the edges of buildings and streets. For many residents, the question isn't only when they can return home, but whether their homes will still be standing when they do. The National Meteorological Center issued an extreme flood warning as conditions worsened, and the central government has responded. The State Council has allocated nearly 100 million yuan in emergency relief funds to help Guizhou begin recovery and restoration efforts.
你成個水仔啊！
Additional aid has also been directed toward neighboring provinces, including Hunan and Guangdong, which are dealing with their own storm-related disasters. But unfortunately, the relief may be short-lived. Meteorologists warn that a tropical depression is forming over the South China Sea and could make landfall as early as Thursday. If the system strengthens and moves northward as expected, it may bring even more heavy rainfall to regions that are already saturated and struggling to recover. For many in Guizhou, the threat of renewed flooding is a heavy burden on top of the destruction they're already facing. These back-to-back emergencies, a driver rescued at the edge of disaster and entire communities submerged under floodwaters, have tested the people of Guizhou in ways few could have imagined. Yet the response from rescuers, volunteers, and neighbors shows a powerful resilience. From firefighters risking their lives on a collapsed bridge, to families helping one another through evacuations, these moments reveal the strength and unity that surface when disaster strikes.
解发洪水了，马上就进家门了。这里在朗德苗寨。
Still, it's impossible to ignore the broader implications. As weather patterns shift and storms intensify, disasters like those in Guizhou are becoming more frequent and more severe. This raises important questions about preparedness, infrastructure, and climate resilience, not only in China, but around the world. How do communities protect themselves when extreme weather becomes the new normal? And how can we ensure that the most vulnerable are not left behind during crises? Our thoughts are with everyone affected by these devastating events in Guizhou. If you live in a flood-prone area or anywhere experiencing severe weather, stay alert, follow local warnings, and prioritize your safety. And if you're able, consider supporting relief and recovery efforts in impacted regions. Stay safe, stay informed, and we'll continue to bring you updates as this situation unfolds.